Well, if you've seen my episodes on Syria, then you're familiar with the fact that I crossed into Syria from Lebanon. I only spent a few days in Lebanon, Beirut to be exact. I found it to be an international multi-faith city that was a blend of the West and the East. At the time I was in Beirut in early January, there were daily protests against the government. What kind of government does Lebanon have? It's actually a very unique setup, and the best way to describe it would be a confessional democracy. For starters, there are 18 official religious sects here in Lebanon. To share power equally between the sects, it goes like this. The president must be a Maronite Catholic. The prime minister must be a Sunni Muslim. The speaker of the parliament must be a Shiite Muslim. The deputy prime minister is an Orthodox Christian. This was created to unify the country, but what really happened was more sectarianism, power struggles, and finally a civil war that lasted for 15 years. Before the Civil War, Beirut was known as the Paris of the Middle East. Its casino was a playground for the jet set, and Beirut was famous for its legendary nightlife and beach resorts. After the Civil War ended, the country of Lebanon had its ups and downs. But in October 2019, the people had enough of the stagnant economy, unemployment, high taxes, sectarianism, and political corruption. Lebanese of all religions and ethnicities took to the streets in unison to protest. When I arrived, the protests were still going on. It explains why many shops were closed and many people stayed away from central Beirut. I wanted to do some sightseeing, so I took an Uber ride to the hilltop town of Harissa. Here's where the famous statue of Our Lady of Lebanon is located. It's a Maronite shrine and a major tourist attraction. The view alone is worth going up here. While there, I also checked out St. Paul's Cathedral, which is owned by the Melkite Greek Catholic Church. After that, I went to the seaside town of Junia. Unfortunately, it was raining all afternoon, so I stayed inside at the Maklouf sur Mer and stared at the Mediterranean Sea and tried out the local beer, Almaza. Later on that evening, I met up with my travel group for Syria, and we met up at the T Marbuta. It's a cool neighborhood pub located in the Hamra district of Beirut. Hamra is definitely one of the more touristic neighborhoods in Beirut. Pretty much any kind of cuisine is available, and there's lots of hotels and nightlife here. For the next week, I spent it in Syria, so if you want to see what I did there, I suggest that you watch those episodes. When we returned to Beirut from Syria, we hit up the London bar, again in the Hamra district, and for dinner, I wanted something totally different. As a disclaimer, I really like Middle Eastern food, but after eating chicken and lamb for over a week in Syria, I was craving some barbecue. So I was lucky to find Butcher's Barbecue Joint. This place serves up amazing pulled pork sandwiches with an extensive wine and beer list. This venue is located in the Marmichael neighborhood. This neighborhood has a huge church here and looked old and historical, so I decided to go for a walk.
I've been told in Beirut that you can tell what kind of neighborhood you're in by looking up. And it's pretty obvious this is a Christian neighborhood. I just had dinner here at it's called Butcher's Barbecue Shop. And they served a really good pulled pork sandwich. There it is. I just had dinner there. It was really good. Explore a little bit around here. And it's pretty quiet. You know, for all the negative press the Middle East gets, I really been made to feel very welcome. And I've been seeing a lot of this in a lot of neighborhoods. Well, here we are, the mean streets of Beirut, supposedly, but I find it nothing but charming. I was trying to figure out what kind of building this was, but it looks like it's a church. Yep, definitely is a Saint Michel, or Saint Michael. Well, unfortunately it's closed, but it does look nice. Alright, well there you go. I mean, some of the buildings look run down. But as far as being scary, it's definitely not the case here. Alright, signing off.
The next day, I walked through the center of Beirut, and I found both the St. George Maronite Cathedral and the Muhammad Al-Amin Mosque, but unfortunately, they were both shut down. This was because of the government trying to quell the protests. These two houses of worship are right next to each other and are meant to symbolize interfaith solidarity and harmony. I also came across some of the protests. They were much less boisterous to the fact that Martyrs Square was all blocked off. My heart went out to the protesters. All they wanted is a more transparent government and an end to sectarianism. I hope that one day the Lebanese people will get the government they want. Well, unfortunately, after that, I had to head out to the airport to catch my flight back home to Miami. I found Beirut to be a fascinating city, and I would love to return one day to do a full episode. As of today, the whole world is under lockdown due to the coronavirus, so obviously no traveling for anyone until this passes. I won't be able to film any more episodes until this is over, but as soon as it does, Detroit will be my next destination. Hey, this is Mike from No-Go Zones. I love creating and sharing this series with you. I would be appreciative if you could like, comment, and share these videos with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe.